All right, Wendy, the recording is in process.
It sure
Today,
is.
you're cutting up on me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you got your volume up?
Yeah, I've got it all the way. Well, let me check because there's no telling with me. All right. Is that better? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that okay? That's better.
All right, today, Wendy, October 13th. It is Friday the 13th. It's spooky season. It's Halloween time. I try every year after Halloween. I say I'm going to get into Halloween the next year. Halloween comes up, Wendy. It doesn't do anything for me.
Halloween has never done anything for me. When I stopped being able to get candy, I was done. Like it's all about the candy for me. I wanted the candy. I wanted the houses that had the good candy. But now I'm just like, well, it seems like a lot of work. Plus, the main color is orange, and I will not put anything up orange in my house. I don't even decorate for fall. I won't even. I mean, I don't have a pumpkin out. I don't have anything out. I won't put orange in this house.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the pumpkins go with the fall colors and the fall vibe, but the Halloween, the dressing up part, I understand it for the kids. Adults, yes. I don't quite understand it. I don't know. It just seems like every year I get ready. Every year after Halloween, I say next year I'm into it. Halloween comes around, I'm just not into it. I'm kind of ready for it to get here. But Wendy, college football is rocking and rolling, and we're going to do what we normally do, which is bang it out. We're going to talk about last week's games, this week's games. You know, we came on here, we were talking before we did this. For some reason, not feeling the vibe this morning. I don't know if I don't have any energy. I don't know if I slept very good last night. So I'm going to have to pump through this.
Well, why did you even call them? Why wouldn't you have just waited till this afternoon after you ate or something and got energy?
Well, number one, Wendy, is we run out of time.
Oh, I'm not running out of time today. You might be running out of time today.
Right. Well, we typically will do this on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, something like that. But now that it's Friday and we got to get this thing going, Wendy, I have to work. Like I'm selling insurance. I'm working. I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I do love doing this. I really do like getting this and start talking about this. Wendy, let's get into it last week. And I'm going to start from the bottom to the top. Wendy, we're going bottom to the top.
Bottom top. Got it.
Just a real quick thing on this Miami-Georgia Tech game. Georgia Tech ends up winning the game. Miami, all they have to do is take a knee at the end of the game. Wendy, it's obviously been all over talk radio everywhere in the world. And Wendy, football 101, when you can go down on a knee and win the game, go down on a knee and win the game. Yes. I know I make dumb decisions in my life. I got that. But I'm not coaching a football team for $8 million. And one of the easiest decisions to make is to go on a knee when you've got the game won. Miami does not do that last weekend, and Georgia Tech comes back and beats them. And just an embarrassing game for Miami.
Well, not only that, you have to feel bad for the Miami players. I feel bad for the Miami players. Like they showed multiple shots of these poor guys. Like, what is this guy doing? I mean, at the end of the day, Georgia Tech had kept it into a close game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good game, yeah.
It was a great game. So you just decide in that moment that this is the route you're going to take and you lose this ball game. But not only that, you look like a complete and total moron. I mean, he looks like a complete idiot at this point, in my opinion. Like it's a laughing stock. They're the laughing stock of college football. And they were having a pretty good season.
Well, they were undefeated. I mean, they were undefeated, and literally, if some things broke their way, they could have made a run at it, Wendy. And I don't know. It felt like he's just over. Like to me, that's over coaching. It's something not clicking right because supposedly he had done it once again when he was at Oregon and lost the game that way too. It's over coaching. It's out thinking the room. I just had to bring that up, Wendy. Let's move on. Arkansas, Ole Miss. Our favorite guy, Lane Kiffin, beats Arkansas last week, and Ole Miss is still rolling and Lane Kiffin's hair's still flowing.
It's still flowing. And listen, what a great game it was, Trey. I mean, I was really kind of concerned with that week before, being the Alabama game. They might be a little bit worn out, but Ole Miss showed up and they won the ball game. I mean, Ole Miss is looking good.
Yeah, well, Ole Miss played LSU last week and then played Alabama the week before.
Oh, that's right.
So they've had two back-to-back really, really tough games, and they still come out and beat Arkansas. So, who knows? The Arkansas win with Alabama could end up being a bigger win than we thought it was at the time.
Yep.
Wendy, we go to Georgia, Kentucky. Last week on here, Wendy, you have Kentucky running all over the Georgia Bulldogs, Wendy. I talked to Barry last week, and Barry, he was a little bit suspect on the game as well, Wendy. But if you're a Georgia fan and you watch this stuff, I don't even watch it that close because I'm not a huge Georgia guy, but this happens almost every year. Kentucky comes in the game 5-6-0, 5-1, 6-1, and ooh, this could be the game. And Kentucky curb stomps them. So Kentucky has, Georgia, curb stomps Kentucky, and Georgia just has Kentucky's number. It's just whatever it is, they get on the field, and I don't know what it is, but Georgia blasts them off the field. Winnie, I did listen to Georgia's radio network going from Rainsville up to Knoxville on Saturday afternoon, driving in the car, so I was listening to Georgia. I mean, I don't know. Their announcers are a little bit like, it's like, dude, you're up 34-7 at half, and they were talking about Kentucky fans crying or something like that. I don't know. I don't listen to them much, but dude, you're beating them pretty bad. They're definitely fans. Let's just put it to you that way. So Georgia does what they have to do. Whitney, we're going to move on to Texas and Oklahoma, which was the game of the day.
Best game of the day.
We're talk about, Texas, Oklahoma is a big rivalry. They're coming into the SEC next year, but Texas looked like the better team, but they could not put Oklahoma away. Another coaching decision happened in the game, and Oklahoma wins the game. Wendy, what did you think?
Best game of the day. Listen, I told everybody last week I'm the biggest Oklahoma fan. I'm still a big Oklahoma fan. I'm really glad they were able to take Texas out. But let me tell you something. Oklahoma might be the real deal. Last year they just didn't have a great season. First year coach coming out of Clemson, defense mastermind guy. I can't remember his name. I really didn't have super high expectations of Oklahoma this year, being the second year. But Trey, Oklahoma looks really good. That was a really good ball game. They kept their composure. The coaching stayed on point. It didn't seem like Oklahoma nor the coaches got nervous. The guys stayed in the game. That's the thing. And I'm sure it being in Oklahoma probably helped. You know what I mean? Because no. They weren't in Oklahoma. They do a Trey, what's it called?
It's a neutral site game.
Neutral site. That's right. They did a neutral site.
I think it's been at the same place for 50 years. I think it's at the Cotton Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's right, but it's at the State Fair. I do know that.
Yeah, you're right. And it's half and half. You're exactly right. I'm sorry. But just the best game of the day. But I'll give it to Texas. They stayed in the game. It was a great game. They got out coached. And I'm really, really, really glad that Oklahoma was able to pull that win off. It was just a great game. I'm just proud of Oklahoma comparative to last year, how good they look this year. It's just, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't know. I think it's Brent Venables, but a lot of people didn't know if he could really do this, if this job maybe was a little bit too big for him. But Winnie, the big takeaway that I had for the game is the Dylan Gabriel guy from Oklahoma. I don't watch Oklahoma a lot, but Dylan Gabriel, every time they needed a play, he would run for 8, 10, 15, 20 yards. I'm pretty sure, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I'm pretty sure he was at Central Florida for a while. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a bad leg injury.
Right. I think so too.
I think that's him, but he ends up going to Oklahoma, Wendy. And I'll tell you this, if Gabriel plays the way he played last weekend and they continue to run and they make a run at this thing, you can be looking at that guy winning the Heisman. But it was good on good. Oklahoma comes out with a win, Wendy, and Texas goes down, which is what we wanted. But Texas still kind of has everything right in front of them anyway. It's hard to go undefeated. Wendy, we're getting to the big game, Alabama A&M, Wendy, in one of the craziest freaking football games I've seen in a long time. Alabama goes out to A&M. Alabama comes out with the win, Wendy. But if you wanted to stand up, sit down, think we're going to win, think we're going to lose, didn't understand some things, this was the game for you. But Nick Saban goes out there and beats A&M, Wendy, and A&M is ready to explode. Right. A&M is ready to beat Alabama, beat on their way to winning the West this year, and this place is going to come unhinged. And Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide comes in and says, hold up.
And here's the thing, we looked bad. We had 199,000 penalties for 199,000 yards. Our running game couldn't do anything. But here's let me say this to all the pundits out there that everybody called Texas A&M. Don't you dare look past Bama. Stop looking past Bama. Y'all said the guy couldn't throw. He couldn't throw those 10 to 15 to 20-yard intermediate passes that we need, that he can just throw the long ball. Okay, well, we'll throw the long ball on you all day. I'll throw the long ball on you all day then, if that's what we've got to do. But here's what Milroe did. Milroe said, hold my beer. That's what Milroe said. He said, hold my beer. And he went out there and he did every single thing that probably we didn't know he could do, but Saban did, right? And really, him and Burton, we finally have a receiver. Like, I feel like we finally have a receiver that he wants to throw to, that's going to catch the ball, that's going to make these big plays. Also, Isaiah Bond. I mean, we just looked like a different team in the second half. But I would like to have a game where we look really good in the first half and also the second half. Like, we look good at both times. You see what I'm saying? That would be preferable. But let me tell you something that happened on Saturday. The whole entire state of Texas went down. I'm talking everybody in Texas was crying on Saturday. Everybody. Best day of the day. Best day of the week was Saturday. I loved it. Loved everything about it.
Yeah, it is so cool. How you feel after your team wins or loses. I mean, it's such a different feeling. And obviously, we were happy Alabama won, Wendy. And I agree with you. But I mean, the thing about Milroe, Wendy, is because the guy hadn't done it. He hadn't thrown a lot of intermediate passes. He hadn't proven he can beat any team with the throwing ball. And I think that's what was so surprising. A&M took away that run, and by golly, they took away the run. I will say something about Alabama's offense. I don't understand the run up the middle every single time. Now, I mean, I understand there's a method to the madness, and you're beating them up and you're hoping one hits in the fourth quarter. But if Alabama ran the ball up the middle, they did it so much. It's like one running play at the end of the game, they tried a little sweep, a little stretch play to get them running a little bit. I just don't understand why we don't sprinkle a few more of those stretch plays in there.
Agreed.
Just to, A, get the defense running a little bit, but B, I mean, my gosh, it was just right up the middle. But listen, Milroe came up, and this is why this guy's a big-time football player. He got hit several times.
Yes.
A crazy, wild, emotional game, and he kept coming back and playing. And Alabama's defense finally stepped up relative to the pass rush.
Yes.
Now, the third downs at A&M were picking up. I mean, it was like 3rd and 7, and A&M had the ball, and A&M would just drag somebody across the middle, first down. 3rd and 12, they dragged across the middle, and that was a little bit frustrating. But as far as the team looked, they looked really good. The penalties are just crazy. I mean, sometimes I think that the officials are seeing stuff, but then other times you're like, yeah, he moved. Yeah, he moved. So all in all, it was a great game. I think the biggest thing for me was at the end of the game when we had picked up that first down, and Milroe throws the ball out. Throws that incomplete pass. And I mean, we go back to that Miami Georgia Tech game, and Cristobal, it's like, well, just kneel the ball.
Right.
Well, everything was moving so fast, and I couldn't get that out of my head. But then after the game, it kind of came out, and it makes more sense why Milroe threw that ball. Number one, he probably should have never thrown that ball. But number two, I think they were trying to snap and get a play off so they couldn't review that wild third down play that ended up picking up the first down. So I kind of give him some credit on that. Probably needs to do something different than throw the ball, but I kind of understand he was trying to get the ball out. Listen, roll tide, Wendy. Bama's back. I mean,
but let me tell you something, Trey. Biggest play of that game was that safety. If we don't get that safety, that game looks a little bit different. And that's why I keep going back to Bama's defense is elite this year. You can say whatever you want about our offense, pundits, ESPN guys, all these guys that just trashed us all week, that Texas A&M, Texas A&M. Let me tell y'all something, pundits. They ain't got no coaches at Texas A&M. You're paying somebody $100 trillion, and the guy can't win ball games. Go look at his record. I'm tired of hearing it. This Jimbo Fisher guy, he's not it. And y'all got to pay a lot of money to get him out of there, man. A lot of money. Coaching is what won that ball game, Trey. Saban's just a better coach. It's that simple, in my opinion. Yeah. It's that simple.
It's that simple. All right, Wendy, let's bounce through here. We got to get this going. All right, this week's games, Wendy. And we're going, the first couple, we're just going to kind of run through really a big slate of football games if you like college football. It's supposed to be getting a little bit cooler. Wendy, we're going to go out west. We're kind of an out of SEC deal, but Bo Nix in the Oregon Ducks Quack, quack. We'll
Yep.
play Washington in basically the
Yep.
top 10 matchup. Does Bo Nix beat Washington or not, Wendy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bo Nix is like 45 years old at this point. He's in his prime. He's doing great. He's doing great.
Florida, South Carolina, Wendy, in a game, I heard some guys talking about this morning, Florida and South Carolina play in a game that neither one of these teams can really afford to lose. I mean, it's like if you lose this game, your season is really slipping away. Who's going to win the game, Wendy?
I'm going to go with South Carolina.
Of course you are.
I mean, Florida's, and I really like that guy over there, whatever his name is, Shane Beamer. I think one day he's going to put it together. But Trey, let me say that Florida's just, they're off and on, man. They beat Tennessee. They lose to Kentucky. I feel like South Carolina's got a better coach, and I feel like South Carolina's got better players. I see South Carolina coming away with this.
Wendy, South Carolina got hot at the end of last season. Maybe Shane got something where his team peaks a little bit later in the year. So a really good game, Wendy. Let's go with the Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Football. Tigers.
Yep.
Play the LSU Bengal Tigers. A little Saturday night in Baton Rouge. We all know LSU can score points.
Oh, yeah. This quarterback's legit. The LSU quarterback's legit. Like, he's an athlete. I really like LSU's quarterback. I just really like him. I can't remember his name, but I really like him.
Yeah. Well, the question is everybody is scoring on LSU.
Yeah.
I'd say LSU's got a problem on the defense.
Yep.
Can the Auburn football Tigers score enough points to beat the LSU Bengal Tigers?
Trey, I'm going to pull for Auburn in this game. I'd like Auburn to beat LSU. It helps me in the end if Auburn can beat LSU. So I'm an Auburn fan this weekend. Do I believe Auburn can do it? Yes, I can. I think they've got a good coach. That's why we don't call them the Auburn swim and dive team anymore. We actually call them the Auburn football team because they finally have one. Let me tell you something. I don't care if they don't have the players yet. I don't care what they're doing. The guy's a good coach. I think he can out-coach Brian Kelly. Where is that game at? Is it at LSU or at Auburn?
It's at LSU.
That hurts a little bit. Night game, midday game, do we know?
Night game, 6 o'clock Central.
It's going to be tough, but I believe that Auburn can do it, and I believe that Auburn's defense is underrated. I think Auburn has a really, really, really good defense. And in my opinion, if they can keep up with the scoring, I believe they can pull this game out, and we need them to pull this game out. Alabama needs it.
As an Alabama fan, you do need him to pull it out. But, Wendy, I will pull a phrase from somebody on TV and say, hold up there, Tiger. Hold up there, Tiger. And I meant hold up there, Auburn Tigers. Auburn is in a position to get blasted by the LSU Bengal Tigers, Wendy. I can feel it in my bones. I'm not banging on Auburn. I'm not trying to, no, I like Auburn. That's fine. I'm just trying to tell you what my gut's telling me. My gut is right 50% of the time. So that's what I'm going with. I don't see how Auburn really is going to score, and I'm not sure against really a lot of teams, much less LSU. I know LSU, we just talked about, has a problem with people scoring on them. I still don't think Auburn's going to score on LSU, and I think LSU is going to score some points. LSU will blast the Bengal Tigers. It's setting up for a blast job, Wendy. LSU will beat the Auburn football Tigers this weekend, and it will open some people's eyes. I don't know. Just for some reason, I just don't like the position that Auburn's in. I mean, Auburn really can't score any points. LSU's kind of fighting off some things. They still have a bunch of really good players who are playing in LSU. It's going to get sparked up. Looking forward to that game.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Tennessee A&M.
Big game.
Tennessee, Texas A&M, Wendy, they're going to be singing Rocky Top up there before the game.
Yep.
We know this. I mean, we know this. We know that.
Right. They're partying right now. Right now, they're partying.
What's going to happen in the game, Wendy?
So listen, I have never been more for a home field advantage than I am with Tennessee. I don't know if anybody can beat these people at home. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if anybody can beat them at home at this point. Trey, I think they'll be worn out from this Alabama game. Honest to goodness, I see Tennessee pulling this game out. And I typically don't. For some reason in my mind, I just always think Tennessee's going to screw it up. For some reason, I think Tennessee's the better team this year. I really do. I do think it'll be a good game, and I think if they don't watch it, Texas A&M can get up on them. But I believe that because of this home field advantage, I think Tennessee's going to figure out a way to pull it off. Trey, it'll be so loud. I expect Texas A&M to have 10 to 12 penalties because they can't get the snap off because of the noise. That's what I expect, and because Tennessee needs the game. They need to win this game.
Listen, they both need to win the game. I mean, it's kind of like that Florida South Carolina game. They both need to win the game, Wendy. But let me tell you something about A&M. I think everybody knows who Tennessee is. I think they had a bad game against Florida, but I think Tennessee is kind of shown who they are most of these games that they've played. I mean, it's not like some mystery of who Tennessee is. They played a bad game at Florida, but whatever. I think A&M is a little bit more of a mystery relative to they seem to have talent. They seem to play good sometimes. They don't seem to play good other times. I think this is a huge, huge, huge football game for A&M once again, because A&M, these are the type games that what you've built in the past, like what type of camaraderie do you have? What type of team do you have? What type of connection do you have? You know, what kind of foundation do you have is what A&M is going to be playing on this week. And if they go in there and lay an egg, it's literally Katie bar the door. Jimbo Fisher might not make it back to A&M because that's what this game is. You're kind of down and out. You've lost two, and I'm talking about A&M. You've lost two games. If he has not built a good base and a good culture over there, it's probably going to show Saturday night, and it could get ugly. That's going to be what I'm going to be looking for. Now, if they come out fired up and ready to play and ready to get on it, best versus best. I like A&M maybe to sneak out a win there because I think A&M at the top might be a little bit better.
Talent-wise.
You know, once again, I'll be honest with you, I'll be pulling for Tennessee. I'll be pulling for Tennessee to be blasting A&M off the planet. So,
But Trey, you've got to look at it this way too. I think I think Dude can outcoach him. They're going to play a hurry up offense. I think Dude can outcoach him. I think he's a better coach than Jimbo Fisher. I think he can outcoach him, especially at home. Especially with the noise, especially with the fans. I think we're going to be pretty surprised at how bad Texas A&M plays. I believe that.
All right, A&M Arkansas, Wendy, we got to get out of here. A&M Arkansas, no.
I was about to say they're playing Tennessee. That ain't gonna happen.
I didn't sleep good. Like typically, I can remember what's going on in this, and this all feels like a blur to me today for some reason. But Alabama Crimson Tide plays the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yep.
Biscuit game. Get your biscuits ready. Get the pancakes ready. And for me, I get to go to a flag football game at 11 o'clock. I might be sick.
Yep.
So, but anyway, 11 o'clock kickoff, Wendy, at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama's coming in on a high. Arkansas has just been beat down all year long.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Alabama's as good as people are saying they are. I'm not sure Arkansas is as bad as people say they are.
Right.
You know, the way the record shows. I mean, Alabama's like a 19-point favorite. That's kind of scary. Wendy, I can see this game going several ways. Like, hey, Alabama comes out, dominates, defense really holds them down. We win the game, 28-3 or 28-10, and it's never really a contest. But I could also see this game getting like every other game that we talked about earlier this year, that it's, 28-17, 28-21, something like that. Wendy, what do you think is going to happen? We need to get up. We got to roll.
I've literally fallen for the same thing you're saying. I think you're probably right. We're going to be in these close scoring games. But listen, you always have to be careful with the Jefferson kid. I mean, literally, he's been there forever.
Jefferson.
Yeah, he can really do things with his arms and with his feet. We've got to pay attention to him. But, Trey, I see us beating Arkansas. I see it being a little bit closer of a game, 28-20, 28-17, somewhere in there. I am finally on board with your synopsis of the year that these games are going to be closer than what we want them to be. But, I mean, I believe that we're more talented on defense than Arkansas is. I believe our defense can do what it needs to do to the offense. So I honestly am not worried about this game.
Yeah, Alabama has – listen, I'm going to say this. If Alabama does not turn the ball over, we will not get beat. That's really how I feel. If Alabama does not turn the ball over, we won't get beat. We need the turnovers or equalizers, and I think that's going to be the equalizer for Alabama the rest of the year. If Arkansas can get a couple of turnovers off Alabama, this is going to be anybody's game. If Alabama can control the ball and control the field position, I really don't see a way Arkansas can do it. But, Wendy, I love you. Roll Tide. Let's see
I
what
love
happens. What
you.
else you got to say? What else you got to say?
That's it, babe. I mean, that's it. Great weekend of college football. There's some games we didn't go over, but listen, y'all turn your TVs on and let's get ready.
Turn your TVs on. Hey, listen, I love you. Everybody that's out there listening, good luck. We'll talk to y'all this weekend. Love you.
Love you. Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide. Bye.
Bye.